Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to what I'm sure you'll agree is one of the most eagerly awaited events of this great and wonderful festival. Now, what's the title?
Later. I do, however, we went to on my website with a wee competition for fans to see if anybody could guess, bearing in mind previous titles, what the title of the final rebus might be. And these are the best of them. And we had hundreds. But if I tell you that the best of them includes The Prime of Mr. John Rebus, D.I. Rebus Will Die, and Skinner's Mile, an entry from a Mr. Q. Jardine in East Lothian. I mean, I was really interested. I mean, folk had got the right idea, which is that it would have a musical connotation. So many of the previous Rebus titles have had a musical connotation, and a lot of people went for the Rolling Stones. I mean, 7 people went for Not Fade Away. We had Through the Past Darkly, which is a Stones album, Dirty Work, A Bigger Bang. I didn't realize the Stones had such great titles. I mean, any one of these would make a decent crime novel. Ashes to Ashes, I thought was good. Beat Surrender, I thought was very clever. The one I liked best, though, because we decided we'd have a prize, even if nobody got it right, we'll have a prize. And the one I chose was The Final Cut, which is a Pink Floyd album, and I thought that worked quite well. I also liked If You're Feeling Sinister, which is a song by Belle and Sebastian. Nobody got it.
But did you, however, as you went through the list, think, damn,
oh, they're all tucked away. No, they're all tucked away.
Rebus survives. He doesn't end up with a dagger between his shoulder blades.
It was touch and go.
It was touch and go. But he survives.
He does.
And he wanders off. And I'm just sort of looking at you know, the way that you described him from time to time in the past. You've made the point that this guy has no hobbies, doesn't follow sport.
He's got at least one hobby.
No, sorry, I'm just quoting Ian Rankin.
His hobby's killing him, that's the problem.
Doesn't follow sports, never took a holiday. His favourite location is the Oxford Bar. He stares at the telly.
Yep.
I mean, what is this guy? You may not have killed him off, but will retirement not kill him off?
I think in the real world, retirement would kill him off, as it sometimes does for people. It's funny, isn't it, how often people retire from a very stressful job and they don't last too long. Because the job is the thing that keeps them going and keeps the blood pumping around their system. I mean, in the real world, if Rebus retired and just stood in front of the Oxford Bar day after day, session after session, I don't think he would last that long. On the other hand, I can't see him doing what cops do when they retire. I don't think he's going to drive a cab. I don't think he's going to retire to Marbella. I don't think he's going to open a bed and breakfast in Orkney. I don't think he's going to do precognitions for defence lawyers, which a lot of people do. He's not going to become a property developer, which some of them have done. It's tough to think what he would do. He's just going to miss the job.
He's going to walk off into the sunset, and Ian Rankin is going to be standing there without Rebus. How's that going to affect you?
I mean, you know, there's that thing about J.K. Rowling cried for 2 days at the end of the Harry Potter series. And I thought, oh, I didn't do that. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I just went straight to another project. I mean, I've been doing other things at the same time. I've just been doing a libretto for a short opera for Scottish Opera. That was challenging. I've started to do a comic book that I've been promising DC Comics in America I would do for ages and ages and ages, and I've finally written the first 3 pages of that. And I've been doing bits and pieces in between. So I haven't had time yet to sit and think, is there a void there? And was that really the last Rebus book? Because there are so many get-out clauses. I mean, I mentioned, SCRU is an obvious one, which is the Scottish equivalent of the cold case unit. And it is staffed by retired cops. So being a tenacious detective, he would be perfect material for it. He wouldn't.
You've mentioned Siobhan, and she's there, and she's heading up the hierarchy, and she's become, you know, as live, almost as interesting a character as Rebus himself. I mean, could you see yourself just gently moving into making Siobhan the heroine of the next series?
I think she's a big enough character to carry the books on. I mean, there will always be fans who will say, "Where is Rebus?" And Rebus would, if she was the hero of the books, Rebus would always be there on the sidelines because he's going to be knocking on her door. What are you up to? What's going on? What am I missing? Can I help out with anything? Have you got that bugger Cafferty yet? You know, all this stuff. So, I mean, there's no way that she's going to be able to escape or would want to escape him. I mean, they've forged a very good friendship, and I'm sure she would want. I mean, he's got a very deep bond with Siobhan that I would say is avuncular, if not fatherly. I mean, they connect in a terrific way. And that wasn't there in the early books. I mean, I think he was much more of a loner in the early books than he is now. But he's very driven. He's not as religious as he used to be. In the early books, again, he goes to a lot of churches. He's trying to find a church that he likes. He's trying to find answers to the big questions. And I think that mirrored a process I was going through myself. And when I'd gone through that process, I didn't feel the need to do it with him anymore. He has been my punch bag and my psychiatrist for 20 years. And so without him, who knows? Maybe I'll go postal. The shorthand term for someone who goes crazy in public and starts shooting the place up. Without that, channeling that stuff onto the page, it might, I mean, maybe I need him. Maybe I need him more than I think I do. You know, I mean, the crime novel at its best should do many things. I mean, it should talk to us about our own moral fibre. What would we do in a situation? What would make us do bad things? What is it that makes society, which could be this fantastic ideal, go rotten at the edges and sometimes at the centre? And also, I think at its best, the crime novel is it's a political form. I think there's a lot of politics, whether you're talking about George Pelecanos or whether you're talking about all of the Scandinavian crime writers or Japanese crime writers, French crime writers. A lot of them tend to be left-wing, and they use the crime novel as a kind of polemic. So, I mean, there are many, many, many things that make it worth analysing.
Quite a lot of you mentioned you're writing a libretto for an opera.
A 15-minute libretto, yep.
Short stories.
Yep.
What else? What other things are you doing? Sort of.
I'm doing a comic book, a standalone graphic novel comic book. I've got to write 2 more novels. I'm signed up with my publisher to write 2 more books that are not necessarily rebus. I've not even started to think about what they might be about.
Can you break out of the crime novel mode?
I don't know. I mean, maybe that's critics. I mean, that's down to the critics and the reviewers to say, you know, I mean, The Naming of the Dead, one reviewer said, almost transcends the genre. I mean, what happens when you transcend the genre? Is it no longer a crime novel? If that novel involved a guy doing what Rebus does, but he wasn't a cop, would that then not be a crime novel? You know, Gerald Kaufman said about Ruth Rendell that if she wasn't under this umbrella term of crime writer, she would have won the Booker Prize years ago with one of her Barbara Vine books.
And is that important? Would that be important to you?
No, I mean, only to the extent that you know, I think crime fiction should be taken seriously.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any longer about a little puzzle that you read on a train on the way to somewhere, and you just, when you're finished, it's done, and you've not gleaned anything except you've had a nice time solving a puzzle.
Yeah.
I think crime fiction has got, I mean, people like Denise Mina in Scotland and David Peace in England have gone way beyond that, and plenty other.
Are you writing any more as Jack Harvey, or is that out your system?
I don't think, I mean, these 2 books that I'm signed up to do, if they ain't Rebus novels, would be the equivalent of Jack Harvey novels. But I don't think, and the reason that I invented Jack Harvey was that I didn't want people to buy them thinking they were getting a Rebus. But now I sense that an audience is savvy enough. People who are going to bookshops are pretty savvy. They're going to maybe look at the back, the flyleaf. They're going to know that, you know, it's a Rebus or it's not a Rebus, and they'll decide for themselves. So I think I could write non-Rebus books under the name Ian Rankin and wouldn't feel the need to resurrect Jack Harvey.
So it's Exit Jack Harvey as well.
Exit Jack, I guess it is.
Ah.
Oh, who knows? My son's called Jack Harvey Rankin, so maybe he'll start writing books. And yet Rebus, I think, is a very successful smoker. And this new book is the first book in which he has had to deal with the smoking ban.
Of course.
Naming of the Dead was before the smoking ban.
Yes.
Exit Music is after the smoking ban. So there's that incredible tension within him where to smoke, he's got to leave his drink. And to drink, he's got to leave his smoke. So there's this fantastic sort of in the doorway of the Oxford Bar with a... So he's actually getting exercise.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that Ian doesn't suffer from is talker's block, and we've all enjoyed the last hour enormously. We now know the title. It is Exit Music, and it'll be available in another...
first week of September, I think.
First week of September, but meanwhile, There are other of Ian's books available, and he will be very happy to sign them. So would you all please join in thanking Ian Rankin?
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Thanks. That's great.